Is this live if no one's here? Maybe. Maybe I'm just being lazy. It's the easiest way to post this to YouTube and my other socials. So, welcome back, boys and girls. This is my third podcast. I have a schedule for 30. 30 is the number that you got to get to. Let me turn this on. 30 is the number that you got to get to have a successful podcast. I'm going to start posting to Spotify and all the other podcast places. But today, my deal is this. Not kidding. I'm going to give you a guaranteed 3 ways to get an A in a college class. Okay? Now, I guess I should say this earlier than I have been saying this. Do me a favor. Please subscribe to this channel. Please never cancel me. That would be good because I'm going to say things that you're going to disagree with. But let's just talk about it instead of trying to cancel me. That'd be awesome. So let me start here. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Let me tell you a story about a professor that I used to know. He's not at the university I teach at anymore. I really like this guy. He was super smart. He was crazy funny. I liked hanging out with this guy. And he knew I was going to give a midterm. So this is like 15 years ago. Everyone knew I was going to give a midterm in my department. And here's why. Back in the day before things were digital, I gave my midterm on paper. Let's say I had 3,500 students that fall. That's a conservative number. My midterm consisted of 50 questions, and they're all mixed up. I had blue versions and yellow versions and green versions, stuff like that. But they were 10 pages long, front and back. So I had to get the department to print these all the time. 3,500 times 10 is 35,000 pages. Student workers, literally, when I would walk in the office, they're like, oh, don't make eye contact with McCarthy. Oh, God, don't. You're going to get involved in this and it was nasty. It was super nasty. And oh, by the way, I needed 3,500 Scantrons too. You remember that. Even you parents remember that. You did that way back in college where you took a number 2 pencil and you had to fill in the right dot. Yay. So this guy knows. Who doesn't know I'm giving a midterm? The people on the other side of campus know that. I'm literally clearing an equatorial rainforest just for the paper for my midterm. So this guy goes, can I give you a suggestion? Sure. You're a smart dude. And we're sitting there and he goes, you know what you should do? You should let your students write down anything they want on a 3x5 card. Are you out of your mind, dude? That's what I said to him. And yes, that's how professors talk to each other. At least the ones I hang out with do. What are you talking about? Why would I let them do that? That's stupid. Just try it. So here's my problem. I really respect this guy. And he's really funny. Did I tell you that? He is. But he was super smart. He goes, try it. So I go into classes that week. Okay. Here's an announcement for you, just so you know. Everyone knows the midterm's coming up next week. I know you're kind of, nervous about it. But here's what I'll let you do. You can fill out a 3x5 index card with anything you want, right? Write anything you want. So many questions. Front and back? Yep. Front and back. Anything. One kid's like, if I really wanted to, could I write down the entire book word for word? And I'm like, sure. Go for it. So the day of the midterm comes up. Now, imagine this picture. My auditorium holds about 400 people. And this is going to happen multiple times during the day. They're all seated there. I have so many pieces of paper, 35,000 pieces of paper, plus 3,500 Scantrons. People are orbiting the room, making sure you don't cheat. Everyone's got their little card out. Happy, happy, happy. And I see people putting them on their desk. Midterm happens. So I'm talking to my buddy. I'm like, hey, so what was the big deal with the 3x5 card? Because I saw some amazing 3x5 cards. I had no idea some of my students could write in molecule. Some letters were so small, I couldn't read them. And by the way, we made them turn I made them turn the 3x5s in with the test. What's the big deal? Oh, and by the way, the kid that won the internet for that day, he took his 3x5 card. Let's say my hand here is the 3x5 card. He cut it this way and he opened it up and now has 4 pages to write on. Dude, you're the smartest kid here. You're probably going to win a Nobel Prize. That is the critical thinking I want to see. So I'm asking this guy, what was the big deal? He goes, okay, when you go in next week and you break down what happened in the midterm, you talk about the grades, you talk about what happened. First thing I want you to look at is, did you get a better outcome? Are your grades higher? And the answer was yes. They were way higher. And that's all I really care about in class. I care about outcome. I care about, did you do well in this class, that class, and the other class? He goes, all right, 2 things. I want you to ask your students 2 things the week after the midterm. Okay, what are they? First one is, what did you think about the 3x5 card? So I do that. I walk into class, and this is going to happen 10 times or 12 times that week because I think I have 10 or 12 classes of 400. And everyone's like, it was the best thing ever. Really? Wow, big surprise there. Then this professor goes, the second question is the most important question by far. And the reaction's not going to be their reaction. It's going to be yours. So I said, what do I ask him? Ask him this. While you were taking the midterm that you're sweating over, how many times did you reference your 3x5 card? This happened every class. Same reaction. All of a sudden, it's super quiet in the room, and everyone's kind of looking around at each other. And turns out, everyone starts saying, I'm not sure I looked at it during the exam. If I did, maybe it was once really quickly, but for the most part, I didn't look at it. Huh. So, dude, what does that mean? He goes, look, I was just jerking you around because I wanted to find out if this was true, but I just read this Harvard review or whatever that, believe it or not, writing stuff down is the best way to retain knowledge. And I said, he goes, you just proved it for me. This study said not only is writing stuff down better than typing it on a computer. He goes, you write it down, then type it on a computer. But this literally said, if you write stuff down, let's say on a Post-it note, you could throw the Post-it note away instantly and you'll still retain it better than on a computer. So there's your first thing. Write it down. Now, here's my next thing. This happens, so a big day for me is the first day. It's way bigger day for the student. First day at university, oftentimes my class is the first time they've attended a college class ever. So I'm doing my song and dance, blah, 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 blah. And one thing I never fail to miss is I always do this. I always say, is there like a sophomore or a junior or a senior in here, which is super unusual because my class is typically first semester freshmen. They just got there. And in every class, there's always someone that decided to change their major or for one reason or another, they are already a sophomore, junior, or senior. And I go, look, miss, I don't know you, right? So I'm talking to a sophomore or a junior. Call it a sophomore. We don't know each other, right? Nope. We've never met. I sound like a magician. Let me ask you a question. And you're absolutely free to disagree with me. But give me your opinion. And I always say this. The secret of college, or at least a big secret of it, is to never miss class ever. And that sophomore will go, yep, that's it. And students are looking around like, there's got to be more to it than that. Nope, that's it. Don't ever miss class, ever. Now, look, I know emergencies come up. My thing is, you can prioritize your life any way that you want. But missing class, that is the worst possible thing you can do. And I'll even admit to my students, I'll tell you something. Sometimes this stuff is boring. It doesn't assuage the fact that you need to know it. I'm going to be boring. I promise you I'll be boring. It's really hard to make transmission control protocol, internet protocol interesting sometimes, but you still have to know it. So that's your second thing. Never miss class ever. It's a big deal. And here's the third one. A lot of people disagree with me on this one, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it anyway. Don't cancel me. Thanks. Here's what happens. Late semester, you'll see a lot of the same people sitting in the back of class. And I already know that if you sit in the front of class, I already know this, you're going to get an A. I am so sure of that. I've done this a couple of times. I did this last semester, and there was this young woman. I met her first day, really cheerful. Turns out really funny. Just a snarky sense of humor. Gave me shit every chance she had. Just a great student. And I said this. I said, look, if you sit in front of class and you never miss class, I can guarantee you, you're going to get an A+ in here. She goes, guarantee, really? Yeah, pretty much. Do you want to bet? Yeah, I'll bet you. And I did. And she never missed class, and she called me on it last day. Hey, I didn't miss any class. Ever. Didn't miss one. And at that point, I felt like we were kind of friends. I'm like, all right, smartass. What grade did you get? Oh, I got an A+. I win. And it was great. So sitting in the front of class and never missing class is so gigantic. But here's what happens. This is really a weird thing. You can disagree with me on this all you want. I have thought about going to the back of my class. So I have a big group that sits in the front, and I love that because it makes my day pretty interesting, not blah, blah, blah about computing all day, because I get to meet a lot of students, see where they're from, what they're all about. I especially like talking about sports or anything, and I especially like to hear what they think. Apparently, LeBron's the greatest basketball player of all time. You're wrong. He's not. It's not Michael Jordan either. Maybe I'll reveal that in some future podcast. But I see these kids sitting in the back all semester long, and part of me wants to go up there and go, hey, you know what? I need you to sit up front. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. But I don't do that. I don't think that's my place. I'm not a middle school teacher. But I'm conflicted because I know that if you sit up front, you're going to do really, really well. And that's the difference between high school and university. I'm going to talk about that in a future podcast. This is treating university like high school. But I can tell you it is that big a deal to sit in the front. Are you shy? Is that what you're going to let hold you back at university because you're shy? Look, we all get shy. I get shy in social situations, believe it or not. Overcome it. Get in the front. Is the professor going to call on me? Maybe. Well, what if I don't know the answer? Oh, no. It doesn't matter. Sit in the front. So here they are again. Write stuff down. Never miss class. And sit in the front. Now, does that sound like a huge secret? Yeah, it sounds like fitness. How do I lose weight? Eat less and exercise. Wait, there's got to be more. Nope. That's it. How do I do well in college? Sit in the front. Don't miss class. Write stuff down. That's all I got for you today, boys and girls, on my live podcast. And I'm going to be really curious if anyone was out there in podcast or live land to even see it. But like I said, here's what I'm doing. I committed to 30 podcasts. You have a great weekend. I'll talk to you next time. I'll talk to you next time. See ya.